Alright, I'll make a quick video showing the motor setup on my FeelFree lure 13.5. Rocking the Minn Kota Endura 40-pound thrust. I got this thing on sale from Walmart in August 23. So I think I paid right around $100 for it. Just using the tiller steering with an extension handle. I do run a crate with my rod holders and stuff, so it does get a little tight every now and again in certain situations, but it does work pretty well. I do a lot of standing and fishing and use the rod butt to do some adjustments while I'm standing, and you wouldn't think it, but just a little bit of adjusting can make the corrections pretty quick. I did upgrade or add this rudder. I seen it on Amazon. It was like 15 bucks. Figured I'd give it a shot, and it did help with tracking like in the wind, and it makes the turning a little more responsive. But even when not using the motor, like it helps it track straighter in the wind. I do have a different prop. Also, I hit a rock and it busted a pin. It busted the prop pin, and it kind of mangled the inside of the original prop. I didn't know if it would hold up or not, and I ran across these while I was searching and figured I'd give it a shot with the 3-blade. So far it's been good, no complaints. It does have a little more lower end torque, so slow trolling along banks does move a little quicker in some situations than you might want to move, but all in all, not bad at all. I have it mounted with the Yak gadget, the stern mount. If you're in the market for a motor mount for your kayak, I'd highly suggest giving them a look. This very well built, and they make mounts for pretty much all the major brands of kayaks, from bow mounts and pod mounts also. For the lure, it just attaches to the track and then reinforced on the handle, and then just kick up if you hit a rock or anything like that. Kicks up. I did rock my batteries in the back, but I've since switched just because it just kind of made everything get crowded or heavy, and like kind of throw off the balance a little bit. But I will say, if doing that, I didn't go through hole. Everything's outside the hole, so no drilling, and it don't really inconvenience me at all. So it works for my application. But if you do run wires, and when you run wires, especially for your trolling motor, you want to be sure you get the right gauge. I want to say this was 8 gauge. You don't want to use a thin wire because it will get hot and cause shorts and can cause you problems. So if you do that, be sure you run the right line. Originally, I had it mounted in the pod, but it didn't turn well. It would track straight, go pretty straight. The speed wasn't necessarily any different that I can remember. It gets around 4.5 miles an hour on full speed, but it wouldn't turn very well. And then also the head would kind of get in the way a little bit. So I could have just added the rudder that FeelFree offers, or an aftermarket rudder, and that might have helped, but I highly doubt it would be anything like it is with the way I have it set up now. And also, with it being there, having to pull it up to beach it, or if you end up running shallow and hit a rock, I was kind of scared it would crack the hole if it took a substantial hit. So I switched it to that. Now, for batteries, when I started, I had just a Marine deep cycle battery. I can't remember the cranking amps or the amps on it, but it was a bigger battery, and it was about 50 pounds. So it was a nightmare when loading and unloading and setting up, because most of the time I'm out of the truck bed. I do have a trailer, but it's just easier sometimes with the truck bed not having to worry about that extra tire or the wheel bearing going bad on you, especially because it's a utility trailer I use for other stuff too. So Eventually I upgraded after running out of juice, because those things, the deep cycles, you can't really run them to zero. They lose their amperage or whatever, and it won't power after a certain point, and had to paddle back a pretty good ways. So I got a 50 amp hour after doing some calculations, and that worked until it didn't, because again, ran into some wind, and just having to run the motor on a higher speed for a longer time drains it. And I ended up running this one out, so I just got another one and just wired it together. It's pretty simple. If you have any kind of common sense with electricity, it's not nothing hard to do, and have it wired in with a breaker. But I probably, looking back, would have just went with a 100 amp hour when I bought the second one, and just kept the 50 for a backup. But this works good. Done many 8-hour tournaments, and I haven't ran these two out yet. I do run electronics, not live scope or anything, just the Garmin Eco Map, but I have that wired up on a separate battery, and I'll make a video on my pod setup or my electronic setup. And I do run some lights and stuff for night fishing, but again, that's on a separate battery. So these are just for the trolling motor. And like I said, I haven't had any problems with running these all the way out yet, and I've fished for all day in windy conditions and having to run the motor. Kind of wish I had a gauge or got the smart battery, but I didn't, so I just wing it, and so far so good. But like I said, it gets running full speed about 4.5 miles an hour. If I add the paddle, I can get over 5, but to sustain it's a workout. But overall, the FeelFree, at least the Lure 13.5, has been great. Like I said, I don't know if I said that already or not, but I'm 6 foot, around 200 pounds. I do a lot of standing and always feel stable. Never really been uncomfortable on this boat. I got it in August 23. This is kind of when I started kayaking and fishing in general, and it was the first boat I had other than just the old Ascend recreational kayak that I only took out a couple times. And I haven't really felt the need to upgrade or to switch. It's been good for me and the way I fish. I did jump into the bass tournaments just because of the competitive nature, even though I still got a lot to learn, still learning a lot. But I do like the competitiveness of it, and it's fun. And hey, donate to the local club tournaments. I did win a big bass last season, so that was pretty cool. But anyways, there's my motor set up.